Kanye West has got to be by far one of the most controversial human beings on the planet. He's known for a lot of things, including giving his unfiltered, egotistical, and narcissistic opinions about basically anything and everything, whether he was asked or not. And that's gotten him into a great deal of trouble. Long before he was known for his controversial personality, Kanye was known for being a driving force of 21st century hip-hop music thanks to his pretty good abilities. Although he's been dubbed by many as the greatest rapper of all time, Kanye didn't only make a name for himself in the music industry. He diversified into fashion and politics, or at least he tried to. Kanye has amassed a net worth of over $2 billion through his music and clothing lines, making him one of the richest black men in America. His spot in the Billionaires Club has earned him connections to big shots in all spheres of influence, from music to tech. However, not everyone agrees with how Kanye uses his platform. For about as far back as one can remember, Kanye has always attracted negative attention for behaving in unexpected ways. For example, there was his infamous interruption of Taylor Swift's acceptance speech at the 2008 MTV Music Video Awards, or when he said that racism is a concept that doesn't exist. While some people might adore his outspokenness and think of it as a superpower, others find it triggering and offensive, and it's caused a lot of trouble for the rapper over the years. However, in the last 2 years, Kanye's received a lot more backlash from the media and the public. The once publicly esteemed Kanye West has been ridiculed in the eye of the press. He has publicly gone through a messy divorce, been labeled as mentally unstable and dangerous, shunned by his family and friends, and humiliated by the Hollywood elite. He appears to have it all, but Kanye has so very little behind the scenes. Now he's alienated. Nobody wants anything to do with him. Ironically, the very qualities that put Kanye in the spotlight for many years were also instrumental to his downfall. So, what actually happened to Kanye West? To fully understand, we gotta take a look at the whole picture. Even before his days in the spotlight, Kanye had always been a passionate person. He was so self-assured and confident in his dreams that he dropped out of college to chase those dreams, to be a rapper. He wasn't just confident, but also very hardworking, and within a year, all those efforts started paying off. He began as a producer, and his talent brought him work with successful artists like Ludacris, Nas, Jay-Z, Alicia Keys, and Eminem. But by far not being satisfied by the acknowledgement of being just a producer, Kanye started working on his first album, which earned 2 Grammy nominations after its release. At this point, Kanye was already a superstar. People loved him for his meaningful lyrics, his sick beats, and his unique style. His music career had been highly successful ever since, and he's even achieved greater success as a businessman. Although his personality quality often made him popular for the wrong reasons, Kanye's explosive creativity was everybody's focus. They only cared about his music and how good it made them feel. Kanye quickly became the most popular hip-hop artist, and while the popularity brought him a lot of beautiful things, like I said, it would also be the catalyst of his downfall. Kanye was already a widely acclaimed artist before his marriage to reality TV star Kim Kardashian, but their union was a literal case of the best of both worlds. As their family began to grow, Kanye's life appeared to be perfect, but unknown to everybody, there was so much drama going on behind closed doors, and cracks began to appear on the surface from the weight of all of that pretense. In the last few years of their marriage, Kanye took to Twitter multiple times to talk about his struggles as a married man and father, expressing hatred for the Kardashians and how they forced him to see a doctor and take pills that dampened his creative abilities. In a matter of months, Kim Kardashian filed for divorce, and the ensuing drama between her, Kanye, and her boyfriend at the time, Pete Davidson, was all over the internet. I'm sure I don't need to tell you. You're like, dude, come on. We lived it. But yeah, it wasn't hard to tell the whole situation really triggered Kanye, and although he wasn't exactly graceful about his responses, the public could understand some of those frustrations. For example, he couldn't see his children without going through Kim's security, like he was a stranger, while pictures of the boyfriend and his kids were all over the internet. It was also the fact that his daughter North had a TikTok account without his consent. On top of that, there were the provocative messages and pictures that Pete sent him about being in bed with his wife. Anyone would be devastated by the breaking apart of their family, especially if it's as nasty and as public as Kanye's was. Since the divorce, though, Kanye has been on a provocation spree, landing in many messy situations. Kanye's experienced pushback from the media in the past, especially when he started to voice out his political and social views. It all went downhill in 2016, though, when he said in a TMZ interview that slavery was a choice. I'm gonna say that one again for the ladies and gents at the back. He said slavery was a choice. A lot of people, especially African Americans, were rightfully infuriated by that statement, and Kanye was forced to go to a mental health hospital. The rapper recounts that he was stuffed up with drugs and it messed up his ability to channel his creativity and produce the classic Kanye West content. Instead, he started picking up a deeper interest in political topics. And as if to get back to the people who tried to silence him for having an opinion, he came back stronger with more aggressive opinions. That went well. It felt like everything he did was to be provocative. From the early embrace of former President Trump and his Make America Great Again campaign to his overly ambitious goal of becoming President of the United States, his political intentions were paid very little attention to, as nobody believed that Kanye was fit to responsibly handle the power that comes with the president's office. How? The audacity on this idiot. Anyways, basically his entire campaign was ridiculed, and in no time, that fell through, and it was rightfully long forgotten and laughed at like the joke that it was. However, these days, his opinions are a little more controversial, and while most people have expressed concerns about his mental health and increasing extremism, there are some who think Kanye is starved of attention, and he's looking for it everywhere he can find. The little boy isn't as popular as he once was, and he's throwing a fit. Even for Kanye, the level of negative attention his behavior has attracted is alarming, and an event on October 3rd was the height of it. Together with the longtime friend Candace Owens, Kanye showed up to a fashion show during Paris Fashion Week wearing a t-shirt that read, "White Lives Matter." This phrase is triggering because, well, yeah, you already know, this isn't a political video, so the phrase was triggering to people. And in a later interview on Tucker Carlson's Fox News show, Kanye explained that wearing the t-shirt was supposed to be funny and show his brilliance and his connection to God. And that's just one of the many wild things that he mentioned in the 2-hour interview. He talked about politics and anti-Semitic opinions. He even accused Jared Kushner, son-in-law and advisor to former President Trump, of orchestrating peace treaties with the Middle East in order to make money for himself. It's hard to pass this off as like a personality trait because Kanye has been in this spot so many times. How doesn't he know when he's being controversial and riling up people's emotions? Or is that all he wants to do? Because he's probably not that stupid. Anyways, as expected, all of these wild comments landed the rapper in a lot of trouble with the press and the public. But he still continues to make provocative comments regarding sensitive issues. He went on to post more anti-Jewish comments on Twitter and Instagram, which naturally led to his account being suspended. Kanye was on the Drink Champs podcast just a few days after all this, where, go figure, he said more hateful things against Jews, and he's been silenced for speaking the truth. It's just crazy that some of Kanye's hardcore fans believe that he knows something, and that the people in power are trying to shut him up before he says too much, and that all of this is an infringement on his freedom of speech. Of course, there might be some element of truth in what he says, but there are policies that he keeps breaking, and the authorities simply don't think it's right for a global superstar to use their platform so irresponsibly. It doesn't even matter how genius he is, was, or ever will be, or never will be again. It doesn't matter. Worst of all, on the Drink Champs podcast, Kanye made a comment about George Floyd actually dying from a fentanyl overdose, rather than, being suffocated by a police officer. Of all the terrible things that he said in the video, this was probably the most provocative. And just 3 days after the video was uploaded to YouTube, it's taken down. But this time around, Kanye's craziest talk has landed him in trouble that he'll be in for a while. George Floyd's family sued the rapper for $250 million after his false and disrespectful allegation. Considering the magnitude of negative attention Kanye is getting now, a lot of people in brands don't want to be associated with him. For example, now he's been banned from performing at the Grammys. His social media handles have been restricted. LeBron didn't release the podcast episode that Kanye was featured on, and the list just goes on. So we probably won't be hearing anything from Kanye anytime soon, except, when he launches a social media platform of his own where he can talk about all the crazy things he wants to do with no restrictions. He can launch that, and then nobody will use it. Yeah, he recently bought a conservative app, Parler, so we'll see how it goes. At the end of the day, if Kanye West has something to say, we all know there's not going to be any stopping him. Kanye's journey to fame started on a very good note, and he soon got everything he wanted, but just somewhere along the way, drugs, fame, egotism, something just broke his walnut, and it just ruined his personality, and it caused the media, the instrument that catapulted his fame in the first place, to begin to push for his undoing. His egotistical, his narcissistic behavior, which is originally considered a superpower, is gradually becoming the fuel for his spiraling downfall. Kanye could have laid low and tried to be more sensitive, but he proudly wore his personality like a badge of honor, and therefore turned himself against the public. which might not be a very noble thing to do, but is brave nonetheless. In return, he lost his family, his friends, his connections, and a lot of other things that probably mattered to him. This is definitely not the billionaire life that Kanye envisioned for himself. So maybe his act as a villain is actually worth something. The chances that this is the case are non-existent, but for now, Kanye West's story serves as a modern-day cautionary tale, and there's a lot of lessons to learn from it. That's a wrap on this video. Thanks for watching.